Hello guys, and we are here today with another very interesting deck profile. We're here today with some Lightsworns, yes, some Lightsworns, because this deck is actually surprisingly consistent and surprisingly powerful because it can pump out some really good XZs, pump out some really good synchros, and of course it can also make 1000 die restrict, and Norn. So this deck is surprisingly good, and I do want to quickly comment on YGO Pro and DN going down. I really hope Death Row doesn't go down, and if it does, I might not be able to make videos. But I do want to tell you guys that I am planning on making other videos that are not Yu-Gi-Oh! And uploading them to a separate channel, just so you guys know. Don't think they're going to come out like next week or this week or anything. Like, it could come out in December for all I know. It's just in the hopes. Like, I'm planning on moving toward that. And I am, because this is the first video I've ever recorded with my new computer. And I'm also using OBS instead of Bandicam like I normally do. So maybe it might happen, maybe it might not, but I really hope Death Row does not go down. The only thing I can think that can stop NES, whoever they are, like I heard they are the anime people, is like boycott. I've heard boycotting Nationals, boycotting World, boycotting Sneak Peek. That would hurt. Don't buy the new pack, whatever it is. Don't buy the new structure deck. That would probably hurt Konami and maybe make them think twice. Now, if Konami came out with Death Row, if they came out with this game, I would pay $60 for it. I would. I mean, there might be a gap between my last video and the next, depending on when they release the game, but it has to be on the computer, it can't be for the 3DS, and it has to be pretty much this, where I don't have to face Yugimoto 5,000 times to get a single pack. So anyways, let's just go straight into this deck before we're playing Lightsworns, because this deck can pump out just a lot of good stuff. Like I said, synchros and fusions and XZs, but only because of this card, only because of Minerva. I really hope she gets reprinted, because I know I'm not going to be able to win her. I just can't. No. But she's such a great card for this game, just for this deck, just more mills. So 2 Wolf, because milling him is great, just more level 4 so we can make Minerva, or level 8 synchros, or level 9 synchros, or whatever synchros, level 7. Gareth is amazing with Minerva, because when you use Minerva's effect, he'll also mill. So you activate her effect, mill 3 cards, and then you draw equal number of cards that were Lightsworns. So if you mill 3 Lightsworns, you draw 3 Lightsworns, and then he'll mill another 2 cards on top of that, and then draw cards equal to the number of Lightsworns that were milled as well. So you can draw 5 cards after milling 5 cards, just by having those 2 cards on the field. So that's a -10 for your deck. This deck can deck itself out pretty easily, and honestly, since Lightsworn's been a thing, Gareth has been in the heart of decking yourself out for Lightsworns, because it's just like, oh, I have 4 Lightsworn monsters, mill, oh, I mill 2 for, I mill another 6, and then I probably drew another 4, so that's a lot of milling. Raiden, mill 2, and then mill another 2 during your end phase, level 4 tuner, so yeah, pretty much that's the important thing. To use them for XZs, you use them for synchros. Lila is more back row hate. Trick Clown, we want to see this guy because we want to mill him, because we want to summon him out. And then we have Thousand Blade as well, so that way it's just more free. Of course, this deck is so luck based, because I mean, if you mill him, Trick Clown and Thousand Blade, that's just amazing, because you just got a free Minerva for nothing. And that can be insane, because when you draw those cards, or even if it's just 1 card or 2 cards off of Minerva, it takes a while for me at least to register, oh hey, I just drew cards and I have more resources. Because I'm so used to Lightsworns just being mill, let me check my grave. Oh, I drew into spell cards? Huh. Now I can get more draw power. Oh, now I can summon out Northern. Oh, because I mean, this deck is all about mill power and not draw power, and then extra draw power is so good. Unless you draw into things like Felice and Wolf, in which case you cry. Felice, though, is actually pretty good. I probably should have Arcanite Magician in this deck because of Mathematician. If you send her by a monster effect from your deck to the graveyard, she will summon herself out. She's another level 4 tuner. And she's a cat. You can tribute her, target a monster, and then send 3 cards from the top of your deck to your graveyard and destroy that monster. Not necessarily in that order, but she's another level 4, so helps with making our rank 4s, helps with making our synchros. And then Lumina is Lumina. Just summon out, discard a card, summon out a Lightsworn, such as Trick Clown, such as Jet Synchron. Those are the cards you can discard, not summon. And then you can summon out something like Lumina and activate her effect again, or Minerva, or Raiden and make Trisha, or Michael, or just something really good. Minerva is a level 3 tuner, and I see Minerva as the upstart of milling, because if you draw into upstart, you can just use it to draw another card. But if you mill Minerva, you can mill another card. So honestly, really great, just gets rid of more cards from your deck, which is better and increases the chance of you milling. And if you send off of your hand with Lumina or Twin Twister, she gets her effect. So that is honestly pretty good. And then our level 1 tuners are here because he helps make Trishula, it's the only way to make Crystalline. Because if you can make Michael or Blackroot, and then activate one of these guys, you can make a Crystalline, and so now you banish a card, such as like, let's say Cosmo Town, and then make Crystal Wing and attack over Dark Destroyer, and then negate his effect. So yeah, that's really strong. And that is it for the monsters. Again, you're just milling and then deciding, do I want to make a rank 4 or do I want to make a synchro? And we're running more synchro, so you're probably going to be trying to make Michael or some of the level 8s or higher ones. Solar Charge, Solar Recharge, oh my god, Solar Recharge. And that's the name of the card. Just more draw power, which is really nice. Sets up our graveyard, sets up our mills. It's just poof. If you open up with this card, like, again, this deck is so luck-based because if you mill the right cards, it's so good. 3 instant fusion because we're probably going to mill 2. But hey, if you see 2 and you can then summon out Norden one turn and summon out 1000 Day Restrict the other, and they're both good. I mean, of course, Norden's better. But 1000 Day Restrict is definitely not an awful card. Again, you can take Dark Destroyer and the Cosmos ships that can't be targeted because it doesn't target. Which means that if they chain a Cosmo Psychic, you get to take them. So, what I mean is you get to take the ship. So say they have, what's-her-face, like Farm Girl out, they banish her, or you activate his effect, they banish her, they summon a monster, you get to take Dark Destroyer. Now, this is just me, but I think you can then activate Dark Destroyer's effect because it happened on your side of the field. Well, it hit the field and then you took control of the monster, so either it's treated as a spell card and the effect doesn't go through, or is still treated as it having its effect because its condition for the effect was met, being normally special summoned, but because it's on your side of the field, you control the card, so you should be able to activate. I don't know, I've never had that situation happen because I rarely summon 1000 I Restrict, specifically against Cosmos, so don't quote me on that. But that's how I'd probably rule it. Think of it kind of as like old-fashioned Jin ruling, where if they took control of Relinquish, like if they used the mind control on Relinquish, and you had the Jin attached to it, the owner of the Relinquish couldn't special summon, and the player that took control of the Relinquish now could. That's how I see it. Reinforcement of the army to search out or challenge a 1000 Blade, but why would you unless you're doing a specific combo? Or more than likely Raiden, so that way you can ditch it for Luna to summon it out. Do note you have to have at least 1 Lightsworn in your graveyard to even activate her effect. Or just summon him out for a Soul Recharge. Soul Charge, that's a great card. I mean, if you open up with this, it's just so good because it means you're going to make Minervas, you're going to be making Stardust Spark, you're going to be making just so many cards. Reasoning is honestly pretty good in this deck because worst case scenario, they call the correct level and you mill it. In which case you just summoned out, if you can summon out Lumina, that's pretty nice. And then, I mean, there's so many ways to get monsters back. I mean, you have 3 Instant Fusion, 2 Solar, 2 Charge of the Light Brigade, 3 Lumina, and 1 Soul Charge. So even if they do call it and it gets sent to graveyard, not the worst case in the world. Wolf can't be summoned off of this, so if you see Wolf, he summons himself out, because he was sent from the deck to the graveyard. If they call level 4 and it's Trick Clown, he summons himself out. If it's a challenger, then you just have to get a Trick Clown. They're probably going to call level 4 once they realize. If they don't know what you're playing, they're either going to call 3 or 8 because they're going to think you're a Cosmo player. In which case, you're going to summon something. So if you open up with it, it's really good. And I mean, with our level 1 tuners and our level 3 monsters, that's going to be really nice. And I mean, summoning out a level 3 tuner or summoning out a Lumina, that can be nice. So Reasoning is a very great card. Foolish, because it's just foolish, summon out 1000 1000 I restrict, summon out Trick Clone, put a 1000 Blade Engrave, put a target for Lumina, and like I said, charge of the Light Brigade, it searches our Lightsworns and mills 3 cards first, so it just sets up our plays. It probably will make Lumina light, alive, like, it's already light, make Lumina alive. And then we have Twin Twister, just more back row hit, plenty of cards to discard. This deck can OTK, so let's make sure there's nothing to stop us. Probably should be at 3 because we're probably going to mill both of them. So that is it for the main deck. Again, the main thing here is mill. The more you mill, the more combos you can do, the more monsters you can summon, and that is it. Now for the extra deck, let's start with the Xyz, 2 Minervas, expensive card, can't wait for it to actually be printed in a set. But I mean, the fact that it can mill 3 cards and then draw 3 cards, that's 6 cards gone from your deck, it's just so good. Just really, really nice. Although you milled 3 Lightsworns, so unless you milled something like a wolf, they wouldn't summon itself out. Wolf, please. Utopia the Lightning, it's just a 5000 Armatis. And then along with that, we have Armatis, which can be any level 4 and our level 1 tuners, or 1000 I restrict, and then like Lumina. Black Rose Dragon, you can make it, and Excitoknight is banned for a reason, although he shouldn't be. So Black Rose Dragon, just really easy to make. So I'd say yeah, it's worth it. And of course we also run Stardust Spark Dragon. I do want to mention that, so you can do some nasty combos where if you can get out 2 Raidens, you can make Black Rose and then make Spark and protect the Spark, and yeah, then be able to attack for 2500. And then 2 Michaels. It banishes a card, but it does target. Costs 1000 life, which is pretty pricey, but it's probably going to be worth it. And then Scarlet Red Dragon Archmage. Yes, that's his name. I don't know what's wrong with me today. He will destroy all of his special summoned effect monsters on the field with attack less than or equal to its attack, and then 500 for each. So it can clear the field pretty easily, especially against Pendulums, especially against Cosmos, but they will float. So that can be really nice. Just being able to blow up the field, and they all summon something that has less attack than him. So I don't think there's even a Cosmo monster that has more attack than him. So he's probably going to blow up everything, and then they're going to summon out weaker monsters, such as the ships, so they're going to set up a wall. So it's not like you're going to be able to attack, but hey, you got to. And then Crystal Wing, you can use like a Michael or Black Rose, and then a level 1 tuner, and make Crystal Wing. It gets over our the Dark Destroyers. It negates monster effects. It's just really nice overall. And of course, if it attacks against that monster's attack to it, so it's like attacking directly pretty much. And then Trishula is also really great because it doesn't target for its banish, and it gets rid of a card from your opponent's hand. It gets rid of a card on the field, and it gets rid of a card in the graveyard. So that's great. And then Leo is honestly pretty good this format. Maybe not so good against Monarchs and Pendulums, but against Dark Destroyer, unless they summon him out during main phase 2, which they shouldn't be able to because you just attacked over their psychics. He's gonna run over everything, and even if they're gonna continue to float, they won't be able to pop anything. They won't be able to get rid of him because you're floating, because he can't be targeted. And he's 31. He just BA just scoops against this guy. Like BA can't win against him. Really, it's honestly extremely hard. They have to be using like Phantom Knights and placing those traps on Dante and doing all that stuff. And I mean, you should have other ways to get rid of not only the Dante but the traps as well. And wow, this video is going to belong. 1000 I restrict this, 1000 I restrict this, summon him on out, and he will take a monster, and he's a level 1. And then Norden to summon out a level 4 lower, so that's a free Minerva, that's a free Black Rose, that's a free Stardust Spark, or it can be anything else. It can be an Armatis. That's one of the best ways to make Armatis. So yeah, that is it for this deck profile. Hope you guys enjoy this deck. If you play it online, because you can't really play this deck IRL because Minerva doesn't exist. If you do want to play this deck IRL, maybe you can put in Dante's, because you can make Dante with Lumina, but it really will change the playstyle of the deck. You'll be focusing a lot more on milling level 3s, and you might want to take out these guys and put in Phantom Knights. That might be a thought. If you do decide to take out these guys and put in Dante's, it wouldn't be a bad idea either. It wouldn't. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later.